I said, hey yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Mojaros, and I'm back with another video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today we're going to be talking about everything XRP, and must I say, the stars are aligning. Things are occurring in ways we've never imagined. You're seeing the lawsuit pretty much get ready to resolve. Dare I say that we are about to end in a month. Unbelievable. But today we're going to be talking more about XRP price action, some developments, and more. So you want to make sure you stick around all the way to the end. But if it's your first time here, my name is Mojaros. I like to cover pretty much all technical analysis videos when it comes to different coins, charts, like do research. Links are in the bio for my website if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But without further ado, let's jump right in. So I like to preface the videos kind of picking up where I left off. Last month, we looked at the same exact chart, and what we saw is pretty much the same exact thing, except right now we're continuing to get consolidation in this chart and range. But what you must remember, guys, and this is the most important part, is that we are in a range that has been sitting inside for 1900 fucking days. Can you believe it? 1900 days. Right? And when something is going sideways for this long, that is a warning sign that this is going to explode. Now, I believe it's going to explode in the direction that takes us to new all-time highs. But if it does, God forbid, explode in the other direction, you can definitely assure yourself that it would go straight down when it does break the range. Now, of course, I am a believer in XRP, but just in case you are wondering what to expect when this ranges for so long, we can look at a previous example from Tesla, and I shared this last month as well. When something goes sideways for this long, you're seeing a range here again for 2,000 days, guys. 2,000 days. What happens? You see a 33x follow it. So I'm not saying that this is exactly going to play out the same way it will for XRP, but the point is, guys, the main point is that when something ranges for a long time, it's like a pressure cooker. Once you pop the lid open, it's over. It's going to be a violent move to the upside. It's not going to be slow. It's going to be quick. And this is exactly what you see here. 2,000 days sideways, and you see a big move to the upside here that pretty much elapses in almost more than half the time. And this is an example to understand moving forward, right? We can probably see something like this potentially for XRP. Now, of course, the moves to the upside for XRP are much quicker. When we look over here at the XRP BTC chart, what you can see is that pretty much this chart is, not really a good indicator kind of for depicting when XRP is going to go up again against Bitcoin, right? But again, what you can understand from this, or something that I understand, is that when XRP moves, it's fast, it's violent, and it's always going to happen in areas that might not make sense, right? And for some reason, this chart has this really weird wick here. I don't know why. But what you can see here is that anytime it moves up here, it's very fast and very violent. But price action is not really clear. It's not clean at all. And what you can see here is pretty much we've been going sideways throughout this whole entire downtrend, on this chart. But I think this is the most interesting part, is that this level at 1,540 sats, so long as it stays above this level, then I'm going to pretty much be bullish on this pair, XRP BTC. And the reason is because anytime price is above it, you see kind of a move to the upside. When it's below it, you can clearly see that it acts as a resistance. So for that reason, I'm just going to remain bullish. You can clearly see here, without this wick here, this is an error. Price kind of bounced off of it, or didn't even really hit it. It kind of went back up before it came back lower. And even when it did the first time, it had a pretty big move. And same story here, guys. You can see that when it came back to it, it bounced off, turned it to resistance, and again, you see another move to the downside before getting reclaimed. And we're kind of seeing a fan out of this level. But when you look at the RSI, it does look pretty ugly. I'm not going to lie about that. But again, what you have to understand is that even when you look back over here in March of 2017, this RSI, this whole structure downwards, led to a crazy bull run in 2017. So, I mean, yes, it does show something, if you want to call it that. But realistically, I wouldn't take it too much, into priority or into consideration. Except that so long as it stays above this level here, I think that that's a strong support and resistance level. So it's something that I'm paying attention to and something that I would definitely consider looking at if you wanted to pretty much try to point some dots together. And also, when we look at XRP from a macro lens as well, on the daily here, what you can see is pretty much there's levels here, right? And this levels that I have drawn, I share each and every month, and this, it's very, very straightforward. Trading is not complicated. I'm going to keep repeating myself because at the end of the day, it's a matter of being patient, but as well as being patient, you kind of have to be extremely strategic. And you can see these levels here at red. This is either a resistance or a support. But for now, right now, what we can see is that for the most part, it's acting as a resistance, right? But it used to be a support, like it is over here, right? What we saw over here was a resistance, but then it turned into a support at this area. And, momentum wasn't strong enough to keep it up. So, of course, it fell over and then it became a resistance up here. So right now we're kind of watching it and seeing whether or not it can hold. The big question today is that, do we hold this level? Because if we don't, we'll probably fall back lower down to 25 cents. So I don't know how it plays out. I don't know exactly what to expect, but this is something that I'm taking into consideration because at the end of the day, the market is really unknown. No one knows exactly how it's going to play out, but we do know that there's obviously a resolution coming around the corner. But who knows what can happen, right? This thing can keep escalating itself in ways that we can never even imagine. So I'm going to prepare myself for any situation. And right now, the next support level is going to be in green, right? What we can see here is clearly green has always acted as support, and that's the 25-cent level. So if we get back down to here, something that I'm going to consider. And right now we're sitting in gray, which is also a support level, but it's more so getting weakened as we speak because it's sitting here for so long. So if we do get a move back up to 50 cents, I'm going to get extremely bullish. But if we keep on slowly kind of chopping to the downside and we can't break this trend line, I might have to remain bearish. So something that I'm watching out for. But something else to take into consideration too is pretty much the RSI. So let's take a quick look at that. I'm going to pull that up here. And this is also not extremely bearish on the weekly time frame. What you can see is that we're still hovering above 48, which is a great sign because what you can see is that when we're at 48, we kind of get moves to the upside, even 42 here. So all in all, we're pretty, neutral bullish, if you want to call it, on the RSI level. So I'm going to continue to be, eyeing that. And even when we look over here, I mean, volume doesn't really show. Excuse me, yawning there. But volume doesn't really do a good job here, so I'm not going to try to use volume. But when we look at this range, one thing I wanted to mention is the liquidity, how it's tapped from both sides of the range. Pretty much, whenever a range taps liquidity, what you can see is that it tricks long buyers here. People think it's going to keep going up. They're long in this area and then it goes down. Same thing for shorts. What you can see is that down here, this area, people thought it was going to continue to fall back down to whatever the hell it was down there, and they get trapped, right? So the point of the range is to continue to chop you up before it goes into the continuation, which is probably, in my opinion, going to be to the upside. And again, it looks very bullish. RSI is still gaining momentum. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because it's still moving upwards here. I know it didn't make a higher high, but while it's consolidating, being that it's been sideways for 1,800 days, approaching 1,900, it's very, very bullish in my personal opinion. And I think some other interesting things to note is that, Mr. Huber, this is a tweet from Learsit, he talks about XRP shorts pretty much hitting an all-time low. And I just wanted to give him credit there, and I want to pull it up here as well. I think this is very, very interesting. I think I got to put USD shorts. There we are. And basically what you can see here is a very interesting, chart that we're pretty much hitting all-time lows. And I know that we can see down here back in 2017 it goes even lower, but that I think it's one of those wicks that are just like, what the fuck. But if we look closely, guys, this is like all the way dating back to what, 2017 levels. And that to me is pretty insane because, you know, what you can see over here is that pretty much when we hit an all-time high, shorts were increasing, not decreasing like it is right now, which I find quite interesting, right? Not that this is a long signal, but definitely is one of those things that complements the chart as far as trying to put together a bullish bias. So something to consider. And also another chart that makes me extremely bullish is this one here. So we have the XRP market cap chart, which is also extremely bullish. I know that, you know, some people don't like using certain charts because it might, you know, paint a false image for whatever reason. But pretty much as you can see is that, yes, maybe we don't need to consider this market cap, but this structure, this pattern, we've seen this before. 5 waves to the upside, you get a long drawn out correction, and this potentially continues, and we're at a support level on this chart, same way how it looked like over here on the gray. And I don't find it a coincidence that we're sitting there at this current time, being that the lawsuit is supposed to end. We're supposed to get some type of clarity for XRP holders. We saw the library lawsuit give clarity to the secondary market, which means that, hey, we might see XRP be listed on Coinbase and BinanceUS for US citizens to trade. So it's very, very bullish when we combine all these different elements. And again, I think that the biggest thing that we have to remember is just this little trend line. Until we break this trend line, it's going to confirm that, hey, we might, you know, have to wait a little bit longer, or we're probably going to start mooning. And I'm expecting a catalyst of some sort, of maybe some news. I think that, again, March 31st, before then, we're definitely going to get something from the judge, because all the briefs are in front of Judge Torres and Netburn to give us some type of ruling that kind of pretty much sways a lawsuit in one direction at this point, right? Because whatever she says is kind of going to be the name of the game, and it's going to be fun to watch. And this is also something I shared 2 or 3 months ago. I think I shared this in December, but there's no update on this. I don't have you know, on-chain metrics for XRP, but what you can see here is that, you know, 3 months ago or 2 months ago, you know, XRP addresses holding 1 million tokens or more have continued to increase, right? And I believe that we're continuing to increase because nothing changed here since December, right? Since December, we've only continued to go sideways. There's no reason to sell here, and I don't think that they're gonna sell, right? It's gonna continue, in my opinion, to increase, being, being an understanding that this lawsuit is pretty much gonna resolve. And as well as, you know, there's a lot of things happening for the XRP ledger. And I don't want to get too speculative as far as the chain itself, but there's a lot of developments as well. You're seeing a lot of grants. You're seeing a lot of people building on it. You're seeing the ecosystem being built out more, DeFi, Flare being added. You're seeing EVM side chains. There's more of a use case which kind of complements the, you know, the overall narrative, if you want to call it that, for the XRP network. But again, these are just things that I'm watching out for, and I'm very, very excited to continue to watch what is going to happen next. And I just want to share 2 other indicators here. This is the stablecoin market dominance chart, and basically every single time this goes up, the market usually corrects and we see the total market cap fall. But when this is going down, guys, what you can see is that, you know, people rotating their stables out into cryptos. And if this is going down, and I think this is going to continue going down because what you can see is a big sell-off, we're probably going to see a retrace and then go back lower again, right? It's going to be fun to watch because I think this is probably going to play out. And maybe this is correct higher, maybe it does fake out more people, but at the end of the day, we know that this is going to have to fall down sooner or later. And, you know, when I talk about ranges, I wanted to show you guys that this is also another chart that's been going sideways for quite some time. Liquidity was taken from the high. Liquidity has been taken from the low here. Once this 1.13 trillion level is reclaimed, the market will have bottomed. And that for me will be the ultimate sign that everything is going to be getting ready to rip. I'll be talking about putting on your moon shoes. And again, you don't want to miss any of that. I'll be updating you guys again next month on XRP. So you want to make sure you're subscribed. You want to make sure you're liked. And don't forget to haru haru haru. Peace.